Happy Friday, y'all. I am back with another video. Not doing a reading, just sitting down and talking with y'all. This is I want to say my #1 requested video. And it's taking me so long to get it out because I really have not been sure on like the words that I want to use. How do I even describe something that I live and breathe every single day? But like, there isn't even one defined way to define, I don't know. So I'm going to attempt in this video to explain what a twin flame is. And I do have my notes here. I'm going to talk about the spiritual side of things as well as the scientific side of things, because a common misconception that I've found just in the spiritual community overall, from both the outsiders looking at us spiritually ascended folk, as well as the people inside, there seems to be this like misconception that you can either believe in science or you can believe in the spiritual realm, and the two aren't mutually exclusive. They're one and the same. It's just a different way to explain the same things, the same phenomena. So let me do my intro because I didn't even do the intro yet. Welcome back to another video. If you're a returning subscriber, I appreciate the love and support so much. If you are new here, welcome. I'm so glad to have you in the room. My name is Cheyenne Baker. I am the face behind and founder of Soulful Soothe, a safe space, a community for Black women to heal from perfectionism and church hurt. So if you see me looking down, that just means I'm looking at my notes, because I make notes for every single video that I do, because I can very easily be distracted and talk on a tangent forever. But just to give y'all a rundown on what we're going to talk about today. First, we'll talk about quantum entanglement. We'll talk about the aspect of mirroring, and then I have written down here evil twin, like from that song. I can't even think of the name of the song. If he do it, I'ma do it. If she do it, I'ma do it. Evil twin. I'll put the song somewhere on the screen. But anyway, after that, we're going to talk about common misconceptions. I have 3 written down. As I'm just speaking, I'll probably think of other misconceptions and why it is a misconception. So we'll go through that. But the 3 I have written down here are: 1, your twin is like your forever person. 2, you failed your mission if you didn't come into union with this person. And then 3, the roles are concrete. And of course, I'll explain more in detail. And then we'll wrap this bitch up, because ain't nothing to it but to do it. Like, yeah, it's a complex topic, but one thing people don't realize about spirit, I feel like, is that spirit is so simple. Like, the messages can be cryptic and archaic as much as possible. But that's only because we are humans trying to ascertain spiritual information, and there's just some stuff that we don't have the capacity to understand fully, because we are not solely spirit and we're not solely human. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. So let's get into it. So what is quantum entanglement? What the hell is that? So I'm not going to nerd out too much on y'all. I'll try and keep this very, very brief. But the gist of quantum entanglement, it is a physics theory that says let's look at an atom. So let's say my hand is an atom. Let's say something, some outside entity, outside force, whatever, cracks at the atom. And so the atom splits into 2. This is where the theory of quantum, or the theory of twin flames, comes into play. So you split the atom and it goes into these, let's just, for simplicity's sake, let's look at it from just splitting into two pieces. So you have this one whole piece, something external happens, boom, and it splits into 2 pieces. So now instead of having one whole piece, you have 2 half pieces. And so these 2 half pieces, these atomic particles, they can be spread out galaxies wide, okay? I'm exaggerating a little bit, but this is just the gist of the theory. You can do your own research, but I'm using this to explain how I understand the twin flame journey, right? So these two half particles, the halves of an atomic particle, they get split up, they get separated. But something else in the cosmos happens, something else scientifically happens that triggers both of them being drawn back together. And so from that theory, we have the concept of twin flames. So to the human brain, how we understand twin flames is, oh, it's this person who like completes you and you meet them and it's happily ever after. Bullshit. This video, I'm gonna tell you right now, is gonna be completely different from any other video you've watched on this platform about what a twin flame is and what the journey is. I am a Virgo rising, so I'm giving you straight, no chaser, no bullshit. I'm gonna talk a little bit too about my own personal experience. I'm not gonna go into detail because, you know, if you are divine feminine, you are very fucking protective of your divine masculine. But so with that being said, how I look at twin flames is the whole point or the purpose of the journey is for y'all both to be triggered to the point of fulfilling your soul's purpose, your soul's work. I do not personally believe that union with this other person, with the divine counterparts, it's not promised. I don't believe that it's promised. I don't think that you have to end up with your twin. I think a lot of times we meet each other at points of our life where we're going through a lot of shit, and either it's right when one of the twins is awakening and they just need that extra push off the deep end to go explore more into their spirituality, or in my experience, it's been you meet when there's just something that y'all can collaborate on and you work on it together until that project is complete, and then you go into separation. So I know on the internet you'll see a lot of like graphics that talk about the cycles of twin flames, or you'll see stuff that talks about like when, like before you meet the twin, like you'll experience this, this, and this. Sure, maybe, not my experience, okay? So I think that sometimes you meet your twin and, you know, on some platforms you'll see people say, oh, you will instantaneously know, it's an immediate drawing. That wasn't my experience. I didn't like my twin when I first met him. I thought he was a douchebag. I thought he was a fuckboy. I mean, he definitely does still have those qualities, but it wasn't until we broke the ice that I got to fully understand and see more, learn more about him and who he is, and really appreciate him for who he is. A lot of times on the outside, so going through like physical appearance, age, like all of those, what do you call those, demographics, they're going to be either similar, like you'll have similar origin stories, like, yeah, my dad died at 12 and my mom took care of us by working at Denny's and da-da-da-da, like stories like that. Or you'll be starkly different. You'll have a lot of differences between like your story or like your demographics. So like for me, and this doesn't have to be the case, but me personally, my twin is over 10 years older than me and he's white. He grew up in California, I grew up in Chicago. So you can't get much more different than that demographics wise, right? Okay. So I'm kind of segueing into the mirroring aspect. So a word that you'll see thrown around a lot in the twin flame community is this aspect of mirroring. And a lot of times in readings, if you look up readings on YouTube or wherever, they talk about like divine feminine wants to know like what divine masculine is up to. And, you know, they'll say things like, oh, well, if you're experiencing, let's say headaches, for example, it's because your twin is clearing out blockages from his third eye or whatever. Because the concept of a twin flame, and hold on, I have the perfect image to kind of tie this all together. It's actually the Lovers from the Mermaid Tarot. So in that iteration of the Lovers, you see this mer woman looking at a mirror, and she sees herself, but she's different. And so that's kind of how it is with twins. Like, you'll have similarities and y'all will be so alike, but at the same time so different. One of the manifestations for that is my twin and I, our sun signs are sister signs. So you really can't get much more. And to put put the cherry on top of everything, my rising sign is his sun sign. So like, there are certain things where I have never encountered another human who understands my quirks as much as he does. And yeah. So let's talk about the evil twin thing. So there's this one concept that you'll see talked about a lot, the concept of the runner and the chaser. The runner is the one who, well, let's start with the chaser. So the chaser, historically speaking, stereotypically speaking, this is the divine feminine. She's the one who is usually a little bit further ahead on the spiritual journey. She understands a lot of the spiritual concepts, a lot of the universal laws. She understands the unseen very, very well, because that is her role. That is, and divine feminine is not a gender term. It's just talking about the polarities of energy. So in energy speak, we talk about femininity and masculinity. Small tangent. Femininity is receiving, attracting. Masculinity is assertive and active. Okay, so divine feminine is usually the one who her spidey senses tingle. She finds out something about the twin flame journey, and now she's able to identify it. And so these behaviors that she sees within her divine masculine that aren't for the highest and greatest good of the connection, she tries to address them and tries to get the divine masculine to see the light, to recognize what the connection is, to recognize the part that he plays in everything. Again, I'm just saying he and she to make it simple, but no, that it's not a binary. So if you're watching this and you consider you identify as non-binary or anything outside of the binary, like please just understand I'm not saying these terms because it has to be this way. Excuse me, you could be non-binary and your boo is a man, or you could be non-binary and your boo is a woman. It doesn't matter. It literally does not matter. So you have this aspect of like, y'all will mirror each other's energy. So like, for example, I had a friend commit suicide mid-October. I had no idea until the day that she passed away that his cousin who committed suicide literally 2 days from the date of this friend. And so, okay, that's one example of like the mirroring, right? Like having similar origin stories, having similar experiences. Now, suicide is not one of those things that's like super uncommon. And I believe that as we go along, we're going to hear more and more people choosing that path, because shit is so intense right now in the cosmos and the ethers that some people, they can't handle it, and there's no judgment on them at all. No judgment on them at all, because this shit is intense. It's intense. So I say all that to say, like, yeah, the concept of suicide is not anything new, but at the same time, like, that's just such a small portion of the population who has actually known someone closely who has chosen to end their life. So moving on, let's talk about common misconceptions now. Okay, one common misconception is that your twin is your forever person. And I'll kind of loop in the misconception that all twins are romantic partners as well. No, no, absolutely not. That's not true. So, like I told y'all, I have a twin. Him and I are not together romantically. I doubt we will ever be together romantically in that sense, because there are just some aspects of his lifestyle that they're not in alignment with my purpose. They're not in alignment with my choices, as well as for him, you know, like we all have free will. I appreciate the connection, and I fully recognize that there are ways that he has triggered exponential growth within me, and likewise for him. Like he definitely feels the same. He knows that I consider him my twin. There's no secrecy. My last partner, he knows about him as well. He knows about the connection. You know, there's no secrecy there when it comes to that. But I share that part of my personal story to let y'all know that a twin flame is not a forever thing. Now, I have gotten to the place where I can talk about this and smile and laugh and giggle and kick it, but it has been a very, very, very I was recording this video a few days ago, and then when I went to edit it, half of the rest of the end of the video was gone. So I'm just gonna close the video out and finish the points that I wanted to mention. I am sweating because I've been like trying to film a bunch of content in a long sleeve shirt at the end of summer in Texas, in Houston. Why would I do that? Anyway, okay, so we already talked about how the first misconception is that your twin is your forever partner. We've already talked about that. But two other misconceptions I see often on the internet is, one, that it'll be a perfect, easy match. That's just simply not true. The whole point of the twin flame journey is to trigger both individuals into the highest amount of growth possible. And sometimes that growth, okay, let me back up. I'm so excited. Sometimes that growth has to happen separately, which is the monkey wrench that's thrown into the plans, particularly for the most part, the divine feminine. And again, that's not a gender term, it's just referring to the energy. So most of the time, the divine feminine is the one that like over romanticizes the connection. And it's like, I can see us having kids, I can see us holding hands, walking on the beach, our toes in the sand. I can see us on the countryside. Like, she's the one that really just goes super far into the romantic aspect of the connection. But the twin flame journey is not inherently romantic. For the most part, you may get less than what your previous partners have gotten from them. Why? Because you are, in your truest essence, triggering the fuck out of that person. And so it can be scary at times, and like they may not be performing a relationship in the way that they normally would, and that was definitely the case in my situation. Now, the third misconception, I am sweating bullets. Third misconception is that you'll recognize them right away. A lot of videos that I've seen talking about the twin flame journey, and a lot of the like infographics that you'll find on Pinterest or Google, they'll often say like, it's an intense, immediate connection. Like as soon as you meet each other, like all these things happen and the stars collide and da-da-da-da-da. That's just not true. Sometimes it takes you a while to recognize, oh, this is the type of connection that I'm dealing with right here. I know for me personally, I didn't know that my twin was my twin until the first time that we broke up. And I'm not going into the details. You know, I want to be respectful of my twin and respectful of our relationship, our connection, our energy. So I'm not sharing too many personal details about the situation, but if y'all have questions about, you know, how I cope or whatever, I'm open to those. But I'm gonna close the video out here because I feel like I've given enough information so that you can kind of understand the journey of a twin flame, of the twins, outside of the context of a lot of the toxicity that we see on the internet, especially on YouTube and Instagram. For whatever reason, like whenever we are touching something so often, and I'm not talking about like physically touching something, I'm talking about like metaphorically interacting with something, it like dilutes the sanctity. It dilutes the concentration of a thing. So with that being said, I'm gonna close this video out. Don't forget to like, comment any questions you have, share this video with a friend who thinks that they're on the twin flame journey, and make sure that you're subscribed, because there's plenty more videos where this one came from. Okay, I'm gonna get out the heat because I'm sweating. Bye.